your knee rehab needs more structure and more chaos. Now let me explain. How is that possible? More structure and more chaos at the same time. The structure I'm talking about, and the structure so many people are lacking, is the structure based on strong principles. Strong principles that actually work and that were proven to work, right? Over the past years, I've obsessed over knee injury rehabs, chronic knee pain. And whilst I'm no medical expert, I can definitely say that I've seen and helped dozens and dozens of people overcome their knee issues with whatever background they came in. Because we don't address any medical conditions at Bulletproof Ballers. What we do is address your knee ability. So that's the key principle that many people are missing. One of the key principles, knee ability. The structure you currently have in your rehab, if you're following most traditional rehabs, by no means am I bashing any specific rehab right now, but if you recognize yourself whilst I'm describing this, you might think twice about continuing exactly how you've been doing your rehab right now. Because if you don't have a structure, a wide structure, okay, in terms of, okay, you have this base that gives you a structure of, okay, this is what I can work on. Now I'm good at this. This is the next thing I can work on. A structure of progression, a structure of principles, okay, is what many people don't have. They simply go to the physio, they get told what to do, they don't really know what it's gonna do for them, they just follow it, right? And then maybe they go in once a week, go back home, get told a couple things to do, and there is no real structure in terms of, okay, what exactly needs to get done and what is this based on? What kind of structure, what kind of principles is this based on? Like, is this actually what is most optimal for me right now? Or have we already developed and now found stuff, not even found, we brought this back up, right? Like, it's not that people haven't been training with their knees going through a full deep knee bend and with their knees traveling over their toes. It's that we stopped training that way and then we got this epidemic of knee injuries, and now we hope to get back there, right? Like, for me, it's clear. And for most people, it should be clear that children are in these positions all day long. And what you're going to really notice in this video is that children pretty much do this stuff perfectly well without anyone telling them. They have the structure of maintaining their body because they have the right principles. They follow the right principles without knowing that they're following them, okay? They're following, one, the principle of full, deep knee bends, using your knee how it's meant to be used, okay? Which is something, if you're not basing your knee rehab based off your deep knee bends as at least one pillar, okay, of that structure, then we got a problem, right? Because it's a main function. And if your goal is just, if the deep knee bend is just a side goal of your rehab, just a side thing of, yeah, let's unlock the deep knee bend, let's try and get to the full range of motion, maybe let's force a little bit. If we're not fully there, it's all right, as long as the strength keeps improving. No. We need this as one major pillar that gives you the structure to know at every stage of your rehab where you're at, okay? You haven't unlocked the full deep knee bend yet? Okay, you're pretty early. Let's keep working on that at least once, twice a week. You have unlocked the full deep knee bend, but you're still not strong there. You still feel tightness, uncomfortability, even pain. Okay, cool. Let's start building strength there. Let's get the body to depth. Let's allow your body to feel comfortable in that position. Once you're building strength, once you're building that slow strength, we now know, okay, the next thing is the fast strength, okay? How about your deep squat jumps? How about your deep knee bend hops, okay? All that kind of stuff that if you have this as a main pillar in your rehab as a structure, then you're going to be much better off, okay? That's just one thing, the deep knee bend. Which goes into the second thing, which is the joint dominance, okay? One of our main 3 pillars of pain-free performance at Bulletproof Ballers. We have joint dominance, we have mobility, and we have plyometric ability, specifically focused on deceleration and elasticity, okay? Now, the joint dominance goes into the deep knee bend because that's where we create much of the joint dominance, okay? Because as we get into these long range of motions, and this goes for pretty much every joint, we use more of the connective tissue, okay? There's more stretch, more tension on the connective tissue as we get into that full deep knee bend, into that full squat, and that pressure and that tension is what we want, right? Because we don't just want to power up the muscles, get those strong, and succeed at the isokinetic machine, pass all these amazing tests that prove that you have the strength when your joint inside is still pretty weak, okay? Because that's really what we care about, okay? Your knee joint is what got the injury. There's no knee muscle. The knee joint is made up of cartilage, tendons, ligaments. Obviously, the tendons, they connect to the muscles. It's all interconnected, fascia. But what we really need to look at is specifically those tissues, because tendons are much, much stronger than muscle. Okay, so while a tendon is actually going to help you to absorb these forces 5 to 10x your body weight when you get back to playing, a muscle is not going to do that for you. Okay, so getting those structures strong, deep knee bend, creating more of that joint dominance. Second thing then is have a structure around this whole topic of joint dominance as well. Okay, know actually what creates joint dominance. One is the deep knee bend. Two is, for example, polyquin step up, okay? Because we know that putting your knee into that position, especially for the ACL, puts it on a peak tension, okay? There's no position that puts more tension on the ACL than that exact extended 30-degree angle right there, which is also where most ACL tears happen, right? Like it's no coincidence, but if we get strong at a polyquin step up, build that joint dominance there, and are able to deal with these compressive forces, right, that act upon the knee joint there, and adapt over time, because we know from studies these tissues, they can adapt to mechanical influence. This is where we're creating more joint dominance, okay? This is where we're taking away the hips and we actually just look at the joint. It's a great test. It's a great test. I would love to see at least everyone coming back from a knee injury implement that test, okay? You have to rep out polyquin step-ups, and with the right form. No hinging at the hips, no compensating or like dipping with the hips to one side. Strict polyquin step-ups, and you will see your knee will start shaking, okay? And don't go too far with this too quick. This is the exercise I've shied away from for so long because, yeah, it is intense. It can aggravate things if you go into it too quickly, okay? So go into it slowly, progress over time. So that principle of joint dominance will give you a good structure to always know, okay, and to have the confidence of, okay, man, I'm actually building my joint here. I'm actually getting stronger. I'm regaining these fundamental positions, deep knee bend. I'm gaining strength in the positions where most ACL tears, for example, happen, but also where patella tendon issues are really, really painful often, right? Just going downstairs, it's that upper range there that people shy away from very often. So this gives you confidence. This gives you structure. This is structure you need, okay? This is structure I'm talking about. Not like, okay, just do this, but have key pillars, okay, of joint dominance, of deep knee bends. Mobility, plyometric ability is something for a different video. In this video, I now want to dive into the chaos that you need as well, because that comes into it, okay? That comes exactly into that, specifically the structure mobility training, the structural plyometric elasticity training is a thing for its own, can be pretty controlled, but now we want to look at the chaos, because when you get back to playing, the chaos is going to be there, and the chaos that you're going to be tested in is your plyometric ability, your ability to decelerate, handle redirect forces, being elastic, and getting into weird stretched positions, which is the mobility aspect, okay? But without actually directly, boom, okay, I'm now gonna do this movement and stretch my legs that much. No, it's not controlled, it's chaos. And so the reason I'm saying you need more chaos is because just structure of like, okay, just do this straight thing. What all we're gonna do is broad jumps, box jumps. Maybe you're gonna jump down if you're lucky, at least learn some force absorption. And then for mobility training, we're just gonna do hamstring stretches, we're gonna do quad stretches, groin stretches, which is all great. I'm saying this has a place, this has a time and place. Structure, mobility, plyometric elasticity is something I will address in a different video as well. But now we want to talk more about chaos, okay? Because often, if you build the joint dominance, if you apply this principle already of moving your joints, all your joints, not just the knee, your hips, your ankles, through the full range of motion while rehabbing, you're automatically going to build good mobility, okay? Extreme mobility, which means you have the strength and the flexibility in those joints. You're able to actively get into those positions. So that is not like such a big concern if you're actually nailing down the first principle of joint dominance, okay? And especially training full range of motion. But what is often a problem is that people stay so strict with, okay, this is exactly the plan, this is exactly what I got to do to get back. But what happens when you actually get back? There is no more like strict, okay, the opponent is only going to run in a straight line and I can follow him in a straight line. No. Yet we rarely do these drills where it's like chaotic, right? Chaotic, where you're like boom, 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 like you need to change direction without knowing that you got to change direction. Suddenly you're changing direction, boom, you get into weird positions. Now the scalability of that chaos is a big thing, okay? So starting with something really simple like shuffle, steps, over, like you can search it up, right? There is great people already out there doing that and that I've seen it from, and I realized, okay, my mentor as well, Keegan Smith, he's brought that more to my attention, that we need a certain amount of chaos. Because the beautiful thing about chaos, and this brings me back to children, okay, is that every single position that you're getting into, which when you're moving through chaos and you're not thinking about exactly the position you're getting into, you're gonna get into different positions, which is also what kids do, right? When they run around, when they play tag or whatever, they're just trying to escape. They're not trying to think, oh, can I do this step now? Can I not? No. And with that, they get into so many different positions. They get exposed to so many different positions that their body now adapts to these different lines of force, okay? Builds a connective tissue, has the neural connection to that area as well. So then you're much, much more protected when you're playing your sport, okay? So get more chaotic at a lower level at first, okay? Because eventually you're gonna get there, and we always want to be prepared in a certain way, and is exactly why cross training is so great as well, okay? Cross training, let's say football player also plays whatever, does parkour and plays basketball as well, okay? Now with basketball he's going to have way more jumping, and with parkour he's going to be really good at landing, absorbing force. So then when he does get into a weird position from jumping when playing football, he's much less likely to injure himself because he's been exposed to these different lines of force before, right? So this is key to actually understand, okay, you have the structure of building, you want that structure of building joint dominance, always knowing where your joint is at, is it actually getting stronger? But you also want the chaos because you want as many different lines of force, as many adaptations as you want, to be as prepared as possible, okay? And this is where the chaos comes in. This is where you get into a flow state, you have fun because you've built the joint dominance, you're really confident in your knee. You need the confidence first, right? Before you go and actually put yourself into those positions, into that chaos, you need to be confident, right? And that's why we really spend enough time to build up that confidence. I know so many that are already in the return to sport phase, are already back and still don't feel confident. Like that's not how it works, okay? That's really how it works. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope this got you to think about the way you go about rehab, okay? The way you want to solve your knee issues. And yeah, stay tuned. Like I'm gonna hopefully give you a little bit more tangible things as well. Like actually, okay, do this drill, this chaotic drill, do this specific exercise for your knee joint dominance, more in detail breakdown. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. I want to really push this more out here on YouTube, where we can go deeper. And yeah, I hope this helped. See you in the next video. Peace.